Have you ever gotten to the end of what felt like an extremely busy day, but when you stop to ask yourself, what did I actually get done? The answer is not much. That, my friends, is due to a lack of productivity. And in today's video, I am going to show you how to get more done in less time and how to ultimately boost your productivity so that you can be more productive at work. Are you ready? Let's get started. My name is Cindy Makita Dodd. I am a career strategist and coach. And in today's video, I want to share with you my top tips on how to be more productive at work. This is one of my favorite topics to teach on because I know how much productivity plays into being successful, not only in your role, but in your career as a whole. And I want to share with you my tips for productivity in this video. Make sure that you stay right until the end because I have a bonus tip that is going to help you accelerate your results. We hear the word productivity being thrown around very often, and I want to take a step back to define what productivity means. Productivity is defined as a way to measure efficiency, and the key word here is efficient. When you are efficient with something, you are able to produce maximum results with a given input. So if you think about the fact that you're allotted maybe 8 hours a day for work, think about how can you get the most done within that period of time. And when you get maximum output or maximum results, that means that you are productive. And a key part in productivity is not just ticking things off a to-do list, but actually getting results. And that's where efficiency comes into play. Productivity is not busyness. That's why very often we get to the end of a workday and we felt like we did so much, we're exhausted, we're tired, we gave so much, but what did we actually get done? What results were we able to attain for our team or for our organization? How did we help to move the needle on our team's goals? Being busy does not equal being productive. And in this video, I want to share with you my top tips on how to boost your productivity so that you can get more done with your time and ultimately be more efficient to produce results. Because at the end of the day, value is what gets you paid. My first productivity tip is to declutter your mind. When we have so much going on in our minds and when our minds are busy, it often leads to overwhelm. And when we are overwhelmed, we cannot be productive. So step one on how to boost your productivity is to declutter your mind. I like to say, do a brain dump. Write down every single thing that's on your mind that you need to get done on a piece of paper. This could be a notepad or a journal, but I want you to write down everything that's clouding your mind and just put it down on paper. This will help you not only see a list of everything that needs to get done, but it will also help you gain clarity on what steps to take next. Because a busy, cluttered, and overwhelmed mind cannot be productive. Another thing you can do is to take some time to do a meditation or a prayer. This can help you declutter your mind, get into the right headspace, and prepare yourself to be productive. When everything is stored in our mind and we're trying to strategize what to do next or even how to be productive, it's very difficult to do so. So do a brain dump of everything that needs to get done, put it on paper, and then we can strategize the next steps. Take some time to do a meditation, some deep breathing, so that you can get your mind in the right place, priming our minds to be ready for productivity. My second productivity tip is to prioritize your top 3 tasks. Now I call these your MV3. These are your top 3 tasks that need to get done today in order to move the needle toward your goals. When you can prioritize the 3 main things every day that need to get done, not only does it remove you from the overwhelm and busy work that comes into play in our lives, by planning ahead on what needs to get done today in order for you to progress toward your goals, it eliminates unnecessary things that come into play that want to take our time. And ultimately, it boils down to priority. What are the tasks that are going to move the needle toward your goals? Because if you try to prioritize everything and get everything done, nothing is going to get done. So take a moment to think about every day when you start your day, what are the top 3 things I absolutely must get done today in order to move the needle towards my goals and in order to make progress. Very often we get overwhelmed with tasks that come in left and right, a coworker that wants something, a manager that wants something, our family, our personal lives, and each of these things is taking time from us and taking away from our productivity. And I love the quote that says, "What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important." And this brings us back to prioritizing our most important tasks that are going to move the needle so that we can really focus deeply on what are the tasks that are going to help me reach my goals. And everything else, I'm either going to schedule a time to do it or eliminate those tasks completely because they simply are not a priority. The more that you can streamline your days to keeping them hyper-focused on the 3 things that you need to get done, not only will it boost your productivity, but you will avoid the overwhelm and busyness as a result. Tip number 3, create the environment to be productive. Your environment plays a key part in your productivity. So the environment that you create yourselves needs to be conducive to you being hyper productive and getting things done. Because if you have your dog barking and wanting your attention on the one side, and your coworker asking for something, and Slack and emails going off, and your phone wanting your attention, you cannot be productive. So it's super important that you create an environment for productivity. The truth is that multitasking is a myth, and it's a very common misconception that we have in today's work culture. The truth is that our minds cannot focus on more than one thing at a time. And so you may think that you're multitasking, but actually you're task switching. That means that your focus is going from work to Slack to work to email, and you're actually not getting hyper-focused work done that's going to move the needle toward your goal. That's why at the end of the day, you feel like you were busy, but you didn't actually get tangible work done that produced results. So the way that you create that environment around you that is going to be conducive to your productivity is by creating an environment that is going to help you be focused. Here are some things that you can do to create that environment. Number 1 is to shut your door. Whether you have your own office or you work from home, try your very best to let people out. Close your door or create that environment where it's just you and your work. You can even put on headphones or music to create that environment if you are not able to shut your door or get away from everybody else. Mute your notifications. For a certain amount of time, say it's 1 to 2 hours that you dedicate to being hyper-focused, mute your notifications. Whether it's Slack, email, or your phone, they can wait. You need to create that environment where you're not getting pulled in several different directions, not 100 things commanding your attention, because you won't be able to get work done. So mute those notifications, even if it's just for an hour or 2, so that you can be productive. The more that you can hyper-focus in on your work, you ultimately get into what's called the flow state. Have you ever experienced a time where you were so focused in on your work that time just flew by and you looked up and it's like, wow, I got all of this work done? And that's because you tapped into flow state. The only way to really tap into that flow state where you're able to produce, where you're able to get results and ultimately be productive is by creating that environment for yourself that is conducive to your productivity. And that leads me to tip number 4, which is to communicate your productivity goals with your team and those closest to you. One of the main goals of any role is to get results. And I know from experience, the only way that you can get results is by putting in hyper-focused time into your work that's going to move the needle toward your goals. Without productivity, you cannot do that. So it's super important that you communicate with your team, with your manager, and even with your family when you are going to be in hyper-focus mode and when you are going to take time to be hyper-productive. That means that they won't be able to reach you for a certain amount of time, or they weren't able to call on you instantly to do something. You have to create the boundaries around your productivity. So for example, you can say, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day, I am in hyper-focus or productive mode. This means that people will not be able to reach you during that time, and that you are dedicating that time solely to getting hyper-focused work done that is going to produce results. If you communicate that with your teammates, with your family, and with other people that require your attention, it will help eliminate you getting distracted, but it will enable you to ultimately be productive. If you don't communicate your productivity goals with your teammates, it's so easy for you to get pulled in several different directions with competing priorities, which gives you a lack of focus and ultimately productivity. And my bonus tip, because you stayed right until the end, learn when to say no. Yes, it is okay to say no or not right now, because the major hindrance to your productivity is multiple priorities that are competing for your time and attention. And if you have too much on your plate, not only is your mind cluttered, you're trying to do several different things that are pulling you in so many different directions, you cannot be productive. So learn when to say no, or I can't do that right now. And it's completely okay. Especially if you communicate with your team that you want to be hyper-focused and hyper-productive in order for your team to reach their goals. It is completely okay to say no or not right now so that you can create those boundaries for you to be productive. And so to recap, my top productivity tips on how to be more productive at work. Number 1 is to declutter your mind. Number 2 is to prioritize your top 3 daily tasks. Number 3 is to create an environment for productivity. And number 4 is to communicate your productivity goals with your team. And my bonus tip is learn when to say no or not right now. I really hope that you found these productivity tips useful and helpful. Give it a like if you did. Comment below any questions that you have on productivity. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more career, success, and job-related tips coming straight to you every week. As usual, click the link in the comments below for free resources on career, on job seeking, and more. I want you to grab them absolutely free, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.